Good morning, everybody. My name is Brent Adams, and I'm here to tell you today about Market Trends Premium, how to use all the features associated with it, and just to give you a little background on Market Trends Premium, where it's coming from and where we get all the data and how we tend to use it. I'm just going to run through a little quick PowerPoint first to give you a little background information on Market Trends Premium and when it launched and a few other things. And then we'll hop into Relist, show you how to get to Market Trends Premium, and then we'll show you how to use all the wonderful charts and features that it provides to you as well. So the number one thing to know about Market Trends Premium, really powerful. And the other thing is that we can take all those statistics that you've seen in some of the static reports in Relist and we can manipulate them on our own. And we're able to take them and compare places to one another, compare different types of homes to one another. Really, we're allowing you to create your own custom charts that we hope that you're going to find value in sharing not only information with others, but also, of course, with your clients, and really imparting some good information that we can provide to you via the Market Trends Premium service. So, just so everybody knows, Market Trends was launched back in May 2013, along with the new Relist Market Trends reports. We'll give you a quick look at those before we get into Market Trends Premium and talk a little bit about them. It is a companion service to Relist. It's completely interactive, as I mentioned, so you can really do a lot of changing around to these stats and really do a lot of good comparisons and customize charts to your own specifications. One of the other things that's very nice that it provides to you is we're not only taking your listing data and showing it to you in a graphical format, but we're also displaying it right alongside tax data as well, so you can do some nice comparisons between both information that's coming from your listing and information that's coming from the county that may either have been part of private sales or potentially part of another MLS as well. All your stats are updated monthly, and we also provide you a 5-year statistical history in terms of the charts and also in terms of some of the reports that we'll be able to provide to you as well. Now really, if you break down Market Trends Premium, it's broken into 4 core service components. The first one is going to be your dashboard, and it's generally just designed to give you a good idea at a snapshot, just at a glance, as to what's going on in your general area, whether it's an entire MLS, whether it's a county, a city, a zip code. We can break it down as far as those, or we can look at every single one of your counties in your MLS as well. So what you're looking at is just a sample page right now, and these gauges are going to tell you a little bit about where we've been in the past 5 years and where we are now. We'll get into more detail about how to read those in a second. The snapshot's going to show you, again, where we are now, where we were compared to last year, and then where we were compared to last month preceding this current month. And then, of course, that pie chart is going to give you a little bit of information about the worth of houses that have been purchased over history in your area as well. Now, of course, the interactive charts are what we're going to spend the most time on. This is definitely the most fun part of Market Trends Premium, and where a lot of the sizzle lies as far as this product is concerned. We've got 9 different charts that we can show you. We'll go over every single one of them, but this is really where you're going to be able to make and tell your own story with these charts as well. This will be one of the places we spend a lot of time on. Lastly, there are going to be some reports that are ready right out of the box. So one of the last things we'll show you is that you can just, at click of a button, provide reports that look very similar to this. No need to customize them or anything else. They're ready right out of the box for you. So they're similar to what you'll see in the charts, but they're just in a nice static PDF format, and you'll be able to share these with people as well. Speaking of sharing, if you don't want to just send out reports, you're actually going to have the ability to take those interactive charts that we showed you just a moment ago, a couple slides ago, and you're going to be able to share them on websites, on social networking sites like Facebook, things like that. Best thing is they're going to be able to maintain their interactivity, so there's going to be some really neat stuff that we can show you there when it comes to sharing these as well. So just a couple of benefits that we can really provide to you with these Market Trends Premium stats. A lot of questions that your clients are going to have or that maybe you'll have as well. And these stats are really going to be able to tell you or be able to answer those questions for you. Is it the right time for me or my client to buy or to sell? Where's the market going right now? We can look, as I mentioned, at specific zip codes, specific cities, specific counties, and figure out if a client's able to afford to buy in that area or if they maybe need to potentially go somewhere else. We can, again, compare those areas to each other and see, can I fit into a house here? Can I fit into a home of a different size, maybe in a zip code next door? What about list prices? Will my client's house sell at a faster rate if I listed at a different price? Is my client's home similar to those in the area? We'll be able to see seasonality in the market when we take a look at some of the sales stats. And again, as I mentioned, we can also compare some of the MLS data that we take and put into the charts, and we can compare it to tax data that we take and put it in those charts as well, and you can actually really get a good idea as to what the FSBO activity is in your area as well. So just a few of the samples and a few of the questions that we can answer here based on all the stats that we can provide to you. So with that said, let's hop out of this PowerPoint and show you how that you'll probably, most likely, generally get in to Market Trends Premium. A couple different ways. You may have a way in from your listing system, but as far as getting in from Realist, this should be a screen that's pretty familiar to everybody. In fact, let me maximize my screen, make it nice and big so everybody can see. And you'll be able to just search on a property, click on that property, bring up that list of reports up here at the top. You can see your property detail, comparables, and then of course we want to work our way over to Market Trends. So the Market Trends report, and this is the standard report that everyone gets through Realist, you're going to see these static charts. And these static charts are basically giving you some stats in the 3 geographic areas where this property is located. In this case, it's going to be the zip code 74105, the city of Tulsa, and also the county of Tulsa in this case as well. So we've got 3 different sections of charts, and this first one, for example, is showing you how many homes or which homes are keeping their value based on the year in which they were acquired. And actually, everything's looking quite nice here. Homes are actually keeping their value quite well, all the way back to 2005. So that's quite nice. Moving down a little bit lower, you can take a look at the percentage of properties purchased above or below their current value. And then you'll start to see a lot of line charts. Line charts are what we'll show you quite a bit of in this static report. And again, we're letting you know the median sale price, both according to tax and listing data. One of the things I did want to point out here about these charts in the regular Market Trends report, and they'll carry over to Market Trends Premium, is when we put together tax report or tax charts and listing charts of the same type, just using different data sources, you'll notice the listing data keeps up to date a little bit more than the tax data. It's much easier for us to get your listing data, and we're all the way up to date as of May as far as this rolling 12-month period is concerned. But we're only up to date as of March, according to tax data. So there's always a bit of a shift with a lot of these reports, and that will carry over to Market Trends Premium as well. Just a little bit easier for us to get your listing data into these charts than it is the tax data in these charts. So just pay attention to those dates sometimes. And as I mentioned, of course, these are rolling 12-month periods. You're going to have the ability to customize these charts all the way back for 5 years once we get to Market Trends Premium. Scrolling down a little bit further, you'll see change in sales activity. Here's some more things, a little bit of a sneak peek as to what you're going to get in Market Trends Premium, because we can show you actual values for sales, and then we can even show you the change month over month, and you'll be able to look at charts that way in Market Trends Premium too. So again, moving down a little bit further, your annual turnover rate. Then we move down into things like distressed properties, and because we're bringing you tax data, we're going to be able to show you that same distressed property information in the interactive charts as well. And that's really about it for Market Trends Regular. So we want to show you Market Trends Premium, spend a lot of time there. So come down to this lower left-hand side and click on this Market Trends Premium button. And as you can see, I've got a little landing page. Some of you may end up seeing this, but I believe most of you will probably pass this by, but these are just some places where you can sign up. Also, there's some nice help pages here. You can find out more about Market Trends Premium. There are also some videos, an interactive demo that we can take a look at too. That's about a 25-minute video that if this video that we're recording today doesn't fit the bill for you, you've got another one that you can look at that was created by the folks at Market Trends Premium as well. Frequently asked questions, definitions of some of the terms that are going to be used, and of course any upcoming webinars that we have. So I'm already signed in. I'm just going to come up here and click the Launch Market Trends button, and we're going to open up all those charts, and we'll start to show you how to read some of them. So number one, what we're looking at here is we're taking a look first at the dashboard. So you can see we break it down into the dashboard, the charts, and the reports. Right now, my current location is the Greater Tulsa MLS. So we're looking at all of your core counties and throwing these statistics in based on that, your entire coverage area pretty much. So we'll break that down a little bit lower in a minute, but let's just try to read these gauges first. So what these gauges are showing you is a 5-year history of what's been going on in a certain segment and where we are now and what the 5-year average was as well, 5-year high, 5-year low. So the way to read these basically is the least amount of closed sales we've ever had in a given month over the past 5 years is 1,275 among all your counties. The most, somewhere along the lines of probably about 1,700 or so. Our 5-year average is actually 1,470. That is going to be indicated by that green line right there. And then where we are right now, this month, the most recent month for which we've compiled statistics, May 2014, is about 1,430. So you can see you mouse over with these, and you can get a little bit of interactivity with them as well. But basically what this first chart is telling me is we're hanging right around average as far as closed sales are concerned, maybe just a little bit below. Now let's move over to new listings and read another one. You can see where we are, 5-year low, 5-year high, 5-year average, and where we are right now is a complete 5-year high, 2,477 new listings. Moving down further into active listings, we are at a 5-year low in active listings. So that means demand is high. So when you tend to see demand being high and inventory being low, when you move over to things like median sale prices, odds are they're probably going to be higher than average, or maybe even at a 5-year high. So these are significantly higher than your 5-year average as far as your median sale prices are concerned. Keep scrolling down, and the rest really tend to show you some pretty similar stuff. We just break them down into different aspects. Your median list price among actives, your average sale to original list price ratio. So right now, people are paying about 97% of list price right now. So it sounds like a pretty good market to be selling a home in. At least it is. Sounds like it is down in Tulsa. Certainly is up in my area. Your median sale price per square foot, also kind of pegging the meter here at a 5-year high. So that's telling you a little bit of information too. And the rest of these, as I mentioned, very similar. Median sale price per square foot, also that among actives. Then you move into your average sale price per square foot along with actives as well. And these last couple of gauges are going to give you a little bit of information as to how fast the market is moving as well. And what it's telling us right now is it's moving faster than it ever has. You can, again, see where our averages are. You can see where our highs are. And we are definitely stuck right down there on the fastest this market has ever moved. In the past 5 years. We're actually going to contract in 34 days, and we're settling in 76 days. So definitely some good information to impart to a client there. Moving down a little bit lower, we can also take a look at your snapshot. So your snapshot's really just going to give you a basic lowdown on exactly what your total sold dollar was, for example, volume, back in May of 2014. And if you want to start to take a look at some trends, you're going to be able to see that at this same month last year, May 2013, we were selling a little bit less. So we're actually up from May of 2013 as far as sales, total sold dollar volume. Now we're also way up month over month. We shot up 19% from April of 2014. Now we can take a look down here at closed sales. Although we're down from last year, we're up from last month. Really same sort of story being told here over the rest of this snapshot. You're seeing that as far as days to contract, average sold prices, days to settle, we're pretty much down from last year. But from last month, for the most part, we're up on most of these things, with the exception of course, the speed of the market, which we already kind of talked about, is moving quite fast. So that snapshot really gives you just a good look at what's going on and a really 30,000-foot view of what's happening in your area. And then the last component to the dashboard is going to be this pie chart. So we take a look at this pie chart. It's telling me right now how many homes that have been purchased. And this is over the history of time. It doesn't necessarily have to just been in the last 5 years. This is throughout homes being purchased in the greater Tulsa area. How many of them are currently valued above their original purchase price? So, the reason you're seeing things like 82% right now is because people who bought their house back in 1950, for $50,000, and their house is now worth $100,000, of course, have experienced something like 100% growth or 100% appreciation. You can see a full-on 19.3% of homes have enjoyed basically doubling in price, over that time period. So you can move out to that outer ring, and you can really get a good idea as to not only how many homes are valued above what they were originally purchased at, but how much. So, really a good percentage of them are just a little bit more than they usually would have been, and again, as I mentioned, a lot of them, maybe even 100%. The nicest thing to see, and it's going to tell you a little bit of a story about your area, is only 17.1% of homes are currently valued below their original purchase price, and of those, really not many have seen major depreciation. In fact, the majority of them are only 0 to 10% less than they were originally purchased at. There's some great information to get there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the location and make it a little bit of a smaller area to take a look at. So when I go to change location, one of the things you need to know is we'll autocomplete anything you put in there, whether it's a county, whether it's a city, anything else. I'll probably break it down in this case down to a zip code. So you can see I put in the first four numbers of the zip code. I get a number of choices that I can pick from the drop-down, but I'm just going to put in 74137, and I'll be looking at that area in Tulsa. And what you can see now is all of a sudden a lot of the gauges changed, certainly the snapshot changed. You're taking a look at the pie chart. Looks like maybe a few more homes in this area than the whole greater Tulsa area as a whole, or maybe worth a little bit less than they were originally purchased at. And you could go and compare all these gauges to what we looked at, too, to get a better idea as to what's going on in this little smaller zip code. But what we're going to do next is we're going to move to the charts. So charts we'll spend quite a bit of time on. And the first thing you notice is our default chart is market activity, or solds, over the past 12 months. Now we have 9 different charts we can show you. So you'll see that those first 5 up here are going to be based entirely on your listing data. However, the last 4, which are clearly marked tax, are coming from information that we're able to gather from the county and are going to include all sales in your area, again, potentially much more than just the things that were processed through the MLS. So as we look at these charts, first thing you're going to notice, and the first thing I always notice when I do a demo of these, is you're always going to see some seasonality in just about any market. We're selling lots of homes in the summer. We're not selling nearly as many homes in the winter. So that's always one of the first sort of trends that you can take a look at. You'll also notice that when I mouse over any of these bars, we're going to actually give you the month for which we're showing the information. We're going to give you the actual number, so you can take a look at that rather than just see it visually on the chart. And you're even going to see the change from last year. In this case, we're going from June of 2013 all the way back to June of 2012, and we've seen a 3.9% decrease in the number of sales from that time last year, that time 2 years ago, in fact, almost at this point. So as we're taking a look at these charts, one of the things I want to point out is we've got a number of variables that I'll call over here on the right. So we can compare different home types to one another, or even different zip codes to one another down there below. But you've also got a number of metrics you can add. But one of the big rules about Market Trends Premium is you can add as many metrics as you'd like, provided you're only looking at one variable over here. In this case, I'm looking at one home type. It's all. And if you're looking at multiple home types over here, you can only add one variable. So for example, let's add some metrics first, and let's just take a look at how we can view these charts real quick. So as I mentioned, we're looking at sales over the past 12 months, and we're just looking at solds right now. I can add some more metrics if I'd like to. So you see I have 4 more things I can add. In this case, I'll add new pendings, and we can see where those have been going over the past 12 months. I can come down here and I can add all pendings. Come down here, we can add some more. We can add new listings. So that's a good looking chart, and then we come down and we can even add active listings. Now, of course, that's going to shoot the chart up, kind of in a little different perspective there. You're seeing, of course, my active listings are kind of dwarfing all the rest, but it's still a pretty easy chart to read. So we're looking at a bar chart right now, and don't forget, we're not just limited to looking at 1 year. We can go down and we can just look at 3 months if you want to, and we can take a look at what's been going on in the very recent past. But as I mentioned, we've got 5 years worth of data stored here for you, and if you'd like to look at 5 years worth of data in a bar chart format, you're welcome to it. However, very difficult to read a bar chart over 5 years when you're looking at the types of stats that I'm showing you right now. To me, that's kind of rendered a lot of these things down here rather useless. So if you're showing somebody something for 5 years, again, the beauty of Market Trends Premium is you need to be able to figure out how to tell your story in a nice, compelling visual manner. So rather than look at these in a bar chart, if I all of a sudden go ahead and take a look at these in a line chart, it's going to make a lot more sense. So these numbers are really looking a lot better now. In fact, you can even come down and you can take a look at the numbers lying behind all these stats too. So you can actually see exactly what's being plotted on the graph too. So it might be nicer to look at it in a a line chart format. Again, you can hover over these lines and still get that interactivity. And, if this chart's looking a little bit too jagged for you, you could even look at it by quarters. We're looking at it monthly right now. I can move it to quarterly, and you can see where things have gone there as well. So we'll just move that back to monthly, and just really wanted to show you that you can really manipulate these charts to say just about whatever you like, or to show exactly just about whatever you like. But as we go back to these bar charts now, what I'm going to start to do is I'm going to take away some of these metrics up here. And it's easy to do. You just hit the X up here, and those different points, or those different data points, will all just come out. And you can take a look at them just like that. So now we're back to looking at just solds over the last 12 months. Well, maybe we want to look at sales of different types of homes. Notice that now that I've only got one metric, I'm able to come over here and I can change some things over here as far as home types. I can compare single families. And then we can even look and see how condos are selling in this area too. So obviously I'm in a zip code where we're not selling a heck of a lot of condos. We're really selling a lot of single family homes. So without being a real estate expert in the area, that's some information that I can find out. So good information for me to have about that specific area right now. So let's take those off for just a moment. We'll go back to looking at all homes. One of the things that I always kind of find helpful is we can also take a look at sale prices too. So we'll come over here. We've been looking at market activity for quite a bit. But now let's move on down to pricing trends. So again, as I mentioned, you can look at median sold prices for sales. And again, we can throw in just about anything else you like. Average sales. We can throw in information about actives, new listings, and new pendings as well. And just as we did on that last chart, we can throw in those different variables and compare all these things back and forth if you'd like to. But as we're taking a look at these pricing trends, one of the situations I like to set up is, someone's looking to buy a house here in 74137, and I as a realtor are trying to figure out how much house they can get into. They're just really not sure. We need to go ahead and look at some of the trends back here and see exactly what sort of house someone can get into. So we're looking at all types of homes. Let me come down here and let me expand bedrooms. So let's say that this person is thinking maybe they want a two-bedroom house, but if they can stretch it and maybe get into a three-bedroom, they'd be interested. So what's a two-bedroom house going for in this area? So you're starting to see exactly what two-bedroom homes are being sold for. Somewhere around $100,000. You can see there's an outlier there in December of 2013, and you can see there was a sale for $299,000 for a two-bedroom house. What I always do when I see outliers like this is I'm always interested to see, well, how many properties, two-bedroom properties in 74137 sold during that time to make that number so high. So I come back over here to market activity for a minute. We're looking at December. Okay, only one two-bedroom home sold in that area, and it happened to be a super expensive one, $299,000. Maybe they had the gold-plated bathroom fixtures in that house. We don't know. All we know is that's why you're seeing some of that discrepancy there among those pricing trends. So let's now bring in three-bedroom homes. And you can see as we bring in three-bedroom homes, you see that we're absolutely going to make a jump, with, of course, the exception of that very nice house that was sold in December, that we're going to make a pretty big jump between a two-bedroom and a three-bedroom house. But, not terrible. We're only talking about $50,000, $60,000 maybe in some months. So maybe this is a person who could potentially have gotten into a three-bedroom home if they were just looking for a two. We can throw a four-bedroom home in there. That's taking a pretty significant leap as well. We can throw 5 bedrooms in there, and now you're seeing what a 5-bedroom house would cost too. So this is not only giving you some good information about home prices in this area and what sort of home your client might be able to afford, it's also telling you if you're adding a bedroom in this area about how much value you can expect to add to your house as well. So that's just a really great way to look at prices in the area and compare them either by different home types or different home sizes. I decided to use bedrooms. I'm taking out those variables now and going back to looking at all homes. You could also break it down by square footage. You could also take a look at these different homes and see which ones are taking longer to settle as well. So all kinds of different ways to look at information in these areas. Now, another one of the nice things that you can do is you can say, okay, maybe this person has decided after looking at all the information in the zip code of 74137, they're now interested in maybe pushing over to a different zip code. Maybe they're afraid they can't afford a home in this particular area. Come down here to compare locations. And in this case, you can compare zip codes to zip codes, or cities to zip codes, or cities to counties. You can do just about anything you'd like. I'm going to keep it at a zip code level. I find it kind of small and a little bit more manageable. But I'm going to compare it to a 74012, a little area called Broken Arrow. So I'm looking at pricing trends now, and what I'm finding is, of course, this is an exceptionally affordable place to live, at least compared to 74137, where I've been previously looking at stats. So this might be an area where I might want to steer my clients to a more affordable home. So those are good things to find out as well. Additionally, as I mentioned, you can add in counties if you'd like to. I'll put in Tulsa. I get auto-completed, of course, just about all of the zip codes in Tulsa, but you'll also see Tulsa the city, so it can be compared to that, and even Tulsa the county as well. So as I put in TUL, we'll add in the county. So now we're figuring out prices and where they're sitting as far as, in the general area that we're searching and in a larger area that we're comparing it to. Obviously, what we're finding here is the zip code that I've chosen to take a look at some homes in, 74137, is a bit of an outlier. We've got homes that are selling for quite a lot there. And really, homes in 74012 over here in Broken Arrow tend to kind of fit a little bit more with the county and the city as a whole. Now, it's very easy to remove these as well. You can take these out one at a time. And now that, again, I'm looking at two similar-sized areas with zip codes, we can go ahead and we can look at some of these other charts as well. Pricing ratios. So in which of these neighborhoods are people paying more of list price versus less of list price? And it looks like in Broken Arrow, you've got a heck of a lot better chance of getting your full list price there than you do over in 74137 as well. And that probably makes a little bit of sense. Homes that are going to be priced rather high, probably going to be a little bit more wiggle room as far as coming on close to that listing price and what they're going to get for it too. Moving down even a little bit further, you can see which of these homes, or which homes in which of these areas, I should say, are spend more time on the market. You can compare those, and that looks pretty similar as well. Again, after that, you can move down to price per square foot. I think we're going to see, of course, that it's still a more high dollar zip code than the other, as with comparing those two together. And then coming down a little bit lower, you can even start to look at some of the tax charts as well. So you'll get to know exactly a little bit about the FSBO activity too. But for right now, let's actually just take off the information about both of these areas. Let's go back and just look at 74137. Last couple of things that we can look at as far as the tax charts, as I mentioned earlier. First of all, don't forget market activity according to listing, market activity according to tax. You can always compare those back and forth with each other and see where those sales are going. But one of the nice ones that we show is there is going to be some duplication here between some of the tax charts and some of the listing charts. But in some cases, for example, like days on market, pricing ratios, that information is only coming from your listings. Whereas things like distressed inventory is only going to be coming from tax data. So let's take a look at distressed inventory for a minute. And, it looks like we've been sitting pretty good there. It's a nice sort of look. I mean, you might think we've got a little bit of a foreclosure problem here if you were kind of taking a look at just this last year. But if you want to come back and maybe look at 2 years' worth of data, you're getting an idea that, lately we've actually been doing quite well on foreclosures, not nearly as many distressed properties. In fact, if you want to, we can even throw in different information, as I mentioned, with these metrics. Throw in some more metrics. Let's actually take a look at all the properties that are in pre-foreclosure. And actually, let's take out that full combined number of distressed. So now you're seeing pre-foreclosures are way down, so people are paying their mortgages. Nobody's going into default or anything like that. Come over here and add some more metrics. You can even find out how many properties have been going to auction. Those are going to be showing up in purple. And then finally, how many properties are being currently owned by the bank. Again, let's go back and look at a year, maybe a little bit easier to see that information, but you're starting to see a little bit of a downward trend in a lot of that distressed inventory. So again, we'll take those off, and we'll just add in those combined. And as I mentioned, instead of looking at a year, let's go back and look at 5 years' worth of data. And you can really see where we've come from with those foreclosures. And it's been a bit of a roller coaster ride, as probably a lot of you can attest to. But really, we're looking quite good as we get up here towards 2014. Now, if you want to show somebody some information about how we're doing on foreclosures in the recent past, but you're not interested in showing them 5 years' worth of data, here's another way that you can manipulate the charts to make them look a little bit better. So in this case, we'll go back and we'll look at a year's worth of data on foreclosures. However, come up here to the top, and rather than looking at actual values, let's look at the change from the previous year. And really across the board, with a couple of exceptions, we're seeing that we're dropping down and we're much less foreclosure. We've got much less foreclosure activity than we did that previous year. So as I mentioned, you can show actual values, you can show change from the previous year, even change from the previous quarter if you'd like to. Viewing by months, viewing by quarters, showing many years worth of data, and also showing them in really just about any form that you want to, whether it's bar, whether it's line, or whether it's the numbers behind it. Really, you can, again, put together some nice looking colorful charts that are going to tell the story that you want to tell to a particular client. So we've definitely taken a look at a lot of information on charts. I think you guys get the idea as far as adding all these different metrics. We've done that a few different times, and we've also, again, showed you how we can compare all these different home types as well, right down to bathrooms, bedrooms, sold prices, or any other variables that you can think of as well. So at this point, let's put together kind of a nice looking chart like we had before. Maybe we'll look at those pricing trends, and we'll throw in those different home sizes again. Actually, let's go by bedrooms. I liked the way that looked before. And we'll put together, again, that nice looking colorful chart that we had about all those different bedrooms. So now that you've put together this chart, perhaps you do want to share it with someone. We've been talking about imparting this information to different clients. So at this point, you've got a few different choices if you want to share this chart. Down here at the bottom, you've got download, embed, or share. So if I click on download, what that's going to do is it's going to give me an opportunity to download a static version of this chart, either in a PDF or as a PNG, which is a portable network graphic. So what you're looking at here is just a simple chart, and there's no interactivity here at all. You can now just copy and paste this, put this into an email, put this into a Word document, send it to somebody if you'd like, and you'll be good to go. Let me escape out of my full screen for a moment just so I can get out of this particular. All right, all you need to do is take that HTML code, place it into your website wherever you'd like it to show, and you have now got this chart. And the beauty of it is this chart is still interactive. The people who come into your website or come into your blog are going to see these mouse overs the same way I see them. If they want to come in and they want to manipulate your chart, certainly they can't add anything to it. They don't have access to Market Trends Premium, but they can certainly remove things. So if they're not interested in 5-bedroom homes, they uncheck that, and all of a sudden they've got a chart showing only the information they want. Maybe they don't want a 2-bedroom either. And now they've got information about sale prices in 3- and 4-bedroom homes, and they can always add those 2-, 4-, and 5-bedroom homes back. So the interactivity remains when you use this HTML code to embed these charts on your blogs or on your websites. A couple other things to mention about embedding. Now you've got 2 different types you can choose, an auto update version. One of the things I may not have mentioned is on the 10th of every month. So actually tomorrow, when you all get in here and take a look at these charts again, you will be able to see that we'll have updated the information that comes to us from your listings and from the tax roll, and these charts will update based on all the information that we're able to compile. So that happens on the 10th of every month. But that auto-update version, perhaps if you are someone who put this chart on your website or on your blog, and you put some analysis along with it up there today, when those charts update tomorrow, if you're using an auto-update version, very potentially, some of the analysis that you've provided on that chart isn't going to match with what the chart says. So if you're someone who's going to do that, provide that type of analysis, then you might want to choose a fixed date range. In that case, the chart is going to remain as it is, and when we update our stats, your chart will remain exactly the way it was when you first uploaded it. Although there are some nice benefits to having that auto-update version. It's going to make you look like you've got your finger on the pulse of the market there, because you're going to put that chart up on your website, and it's going to update every single month, and you don't have to do any work. So there's really benefits and drawbacks to both. So decide which one you want to use, and just make sure you know which one you're using before you put that HTML code on your website. Lastly, you can also change the size of these. So if this chart is going to be the feature of an article that you're putting together, you might want to use an extra large chart. But if you're writing a larger article about selling homes in the greater Tulsa area, and you just want to make this a small sidebar as to what homes have been costing recently in that particular zip code, you might want to choose a small version of that chart. So really some great ways that you can also embed these too. Now, maybe not all of you have websites, maybe not all of you have blogs, but just about everybody has at least some form of social networking nowadays, whether it's Twitter, whether it's a Facebook page or anything else. And you're able to come down here to the share button, and when I click the share button, we're going to get that same chart, we're going to get that same interactivity, we're going to get that same ability for users of your chart to manipulate it as well. And once you've done that, we can put it on just about any social networking site that you'll see anywhere in the country. We put the major ones up here kind of at the top right: Facebook, MySpace, Google, Twitter. However, if you click on this little plus sign right here, you get more. And if you want to get even more than that, I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a social networking site that we're not able to help you as far as putting that chart onto it. So we've got lots of them. And you can even see, we're going to give you a little bit of information. We'll put a header on that chart too. In fact, for those of you who might have a Facebook page, all you really need to do at this point, click on Facebook. We're going to give you a little bit of a blurb about what we're going to put on that chart. You can put your own blurb on there. Hey, check out this information that I just compiled. I think you'll find it interesting. And it's going to end up going right on Facebook after that. So all kinds of great ways to share this information, to embed this information, and also to even just copy and paste it and send it to people as well. So I'll close out of there. And really, that's about all we've got to show you about the chart. So again, lots to go over there. I think hopefully you found it pretty easy to navigate and pretty intuitive. There is a lot of things you can do, but once you play with it, you'll really figure out it's just about telling the story that you want to tell with a lot of these different charts. Lastly, what we're going to move over to is we're going to take a look at the Reports tab. So as I click on the Reports tab, here you've got some reports that are ready right out of the box. So you can come down here and you've got detailed reports. I find these probably helpful more for MLS executives, people looking at the big picture. You can look at a monthly report, year-to-date, quarterly, even yearly. Let's take a look at year-to-date, for example, right now. As you come down to these time periods, as I mentioned, we do have a 5-year history of data that we store behind the scenes on all this stuff. So you can come back and go all the way back to January of 2008 if you'd like to and run reports for that time period. However, in this case, I'll just run the most recent reports that we've got here, May of 2014. So I hit go. It's going to generate a PDF for me. Should launch up relatively quickly. And there you go. For 74137, and don't forget, we're still in this zip code. We're taking a look at the sold dollar volume for May of 2014, going back to May of 2013, and comparing them back and forth and giving you the plus or minus percentage change there. Excuse me. We're showing you the days on market information, and then even the sold detail. How much are these homes selling for? What are the average sold prices? What were those the previous year? How much have we changed from then? And then, of course, the number of solds we've seen, too. So that's just a very nice, easy-to-read, one-page chart. We can close out of there. But another one that I find pretty interesting is your local market insight report as well. So again, we're only looking at whatever geographic area I have currently selected, 74137, and we can look at one or more different types of reports. I can look at all homes together, and then we can even break them down: single family, townhomes, condos, and mobile homes. If I'm not mistaken, I believe we didn't see any mobile homes or any townhomes, or what we would be described as townhomes in this area. So we'll take those out. Now we'll leave townhomes in. Sometimes townhomes and condos can be a little bit the same. But we'll leave those in, and we'll run that report, sans mobile homes. And this is a slightly larger report. Sometimes this one takes a minute or two to load. But what you'll see is you get a nice cover page here. We're letting you know again clearly for what time period, what home types, and what geographic area we're running this local market insight report on this nice cover page. And then moving down a little bit further, we'll show you, again, for that month, what's been going on in the specific area. So right now we're looking at all types of homes. We're showing you where the new listings are and where they have come since April of 2014. So we're down. Closed sales are up. New pendings, down. So we're starting to kind of look a lot like some of the interactive information that we were showing you on the charts. Median sold prices. It's just in a very much easier and nice to see sort of snapshot view. Taking a look at these closed sales and the median sold prices and how they're dovetailing together. And then lastly, we come down to active listings, median days to contract, average sold to original list price ratio. And what we're showing you is the 5-year low, the 5-year high, the 5-year average, and where we are right now. So these are looking very similar to those gauges that we showed you on the dashboard at the beginning. As we move down a little bit further, we break those down into just single-family types of homes. We break them down into townhomes. As I mentioned, we're not going to see too many of those, but we do see quite a lot of condos in this area too, and you can see exactly where those stats are going for those as well. At that point, you've got these as a PDF. You can save them. You can send them out to somebody if you want to, so those reports are really completely ready for you outside the box. And folks, with that said, we've pretty much run through everything we wanted to show you about Market Trends Premium today, including how to get there, how to relist, that Market Trends Premium button, although you may eventually have a direct link to this report, Market Trends Premium, from your listing service. And of course, you'll always launch up to that dashboard where we always give you that snapshot. The reports, very easy, as we covered here at the end, and really where you're probably going to want to spend most of your time and show all those cool pieces of information is going to be that chart section. And as I mentioned, what we hope we've provided to you are some really great statistics that are going to be very meaningful to you and to your clients, and that are going to allow you to tell the story that you want to tell and make it look like you've got your finger on the pulse of the market, and also, more importantly, help you go out there and make some money too. So folks, with all that said, I've finished up today with today's Market Trends Premium. Just wanted to thank you all for joining. And if you have any questions, we can always provide to you one of these again as well. So thanks again for everybody for watching the video today or coming out to the live training. And we'll talk to you soon. Take care.